See, I think that takes a lot of leadership. It takes people buying into your vision, and that's not an easy thing to do because nobody is going to care about your business more than you. People are looking for leadership. They may not admit it. They may not,
like it.
They may not like it. They don't want it a lot of times, but you touched on it. Sometimes people need more than what just a job is. Having that purpose and having that vision is what people buy into, and I think that's what you've been able to do. So this is the very first episode of our podcast, and we were calling it The Best Is Yet to Come. And I am very lucky to be joined by a very good friend of mine and realtor partner, Lisa Stover. And the reason why she's the first guest is because the moment she knew that I had a podcast studio, she has been sending me emails and texts asking when we could do this. So it was only natural that we had you as our first guest. So I appreciate you coming on and joining us. And why don't you tell everybody a little bit about who you are?
Well, first of all, I just want to say that I'm really excited about that. To be the first guest is awesome. And we've been together for a long time.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to be able to join you in this beautiful studio and to talk about my company and what I do. So I am Lisa Stover. I am the owner and managing broker of Weichert Realtors Homes by Presto and Presto Real Estate Services. We are truly a full-service real estate company offering so much more than just real estate. We specialize in senior clientele, helping them with a really kind of a once-in-a-lifetime move. For many of them, it may be their last move, the last big move that they make, but a very important and special and sensitive move. And we take a lot of time and care to really do this well. And I'm excited to be here today to talk more about it with you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to going through a lot of that with you and really digging in and unpacking a little bit about what you do, because I think it's something that as long as I've known you, this is something you've been very passionate about, and you've developed a business around it. And I think there's a lot to take away from that. And I think telling that story and what your business is and how you've built it is very important. I'd love to kind of get into that because I feel like it's something that more people need to know about. I don't even know if a lot of people realize the types of services that are available. We all have parents, and we all deal with this. Unfortunately, it's usually at a time when we're not expecting. So I think just being able to kind of go through some of that. I love the idea of kind of unpacking a little bit about why you started that, why you got in that niche. So I guess one of the things that I wanted to kind of start with is if you could tell me a little bit about when when I first met Lisa. I think it's important to note, I was in a real estate office and you were a realtor there. And as far as I can remember back, you had a passion for helping seniors. Mm-hmm. So can you tell a little bit about, or talk a little bit about, when you decided that this was going to kind of be something you really would focus on, but more importantly, build a business around?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my mom, my own mother, needed to make a move. It started with that. And she was on the other side of the country. And I needed to either get someone to help her or get her closer to me. So it turned out that we moved her here. And I realized pretty quickly that this was a time-consuming adventure, right? I had to take time off. I had to be able to leave my kids behind to do the things that needed to get done to get her safely and happily, right?
Yeah.
Relocated. And so that was all well and good. And she lived with us for a number of years. When she started to decline cognitively is when things really started to escalate. I was in real estate at the time, and I had to make a move with her. She wasn't safe alone at home. We needed to get her into a community where she would be safer. And right around that same time, I received a referral from a financial advisor, a client he had who needed to make a move. I went and met with the client, and as soon as I walked in the door, I could tell by the way the papers were all over the place that this person was dealing with some cognitive issues.
Yeah.
He told me that his children lived in Texas and Minnesota, and he had already chosen where he was going to live, and I was going to sell his home. And I thought, you know what? I'm not comfortable having this person sign a contract with me. I didn't feel comfortable having him sign his name on a legal document.
Yeah.
So I asked him if I could reach out to his children, and they were wonderful. One was a pilot. The other was a school teacher. It was like March or April. Both of them were very busy, and they just said, I don't even know what to do. I don't even know how to change my schedule. I need to come in. And I said, I just went through this with my mom. I think I could help you. Your dad's already chosen where he wants to go. I can arrange for moving, and we'll help him get settled in his new apartment. And that's really where it began.
Yeah.
And at the end of that, the fulfillment that I felt was solidified. I knew at this point that I couldn't be alone. This brother and sister weren't alone. There were so many more people out there who needed help with a situation like this.
So you had this experience.
Mm-hmm.
You realized the need, that you were experiencing with this family. Where did you take the next step where you decided to add in all these other services? Was it something that was kind of just going through that each and every time? Or because I think that's what makes your business so unique is not so much the real estate side and being able to sit and talk to a family.
Yeah.
It's all the other services that you've built around real estate that I feel like goes above and beyond what most people would think is your responsibility. And you've now gone in and built this, not because you had to, but because more so you felt like it was something that was needed. Yeah. So can you talk a little bit about what kind of the progression was to get you to those other services?
Well, I think that the progression was actually pretty organic in reality. Being very type A Capricorn that I am, I'm a bit of a control freak. And as I started to help people in snippets, right?
Yeah.
Like we'll help you organize a move, or we'll help you organize a clean out. I would realize that I really didn't like the way things were getting done.
Yeah.
That I would get a contractor in there, and maybe they weren't sensitive to the client's needs. What I've grown to understand, and we can talk more about this, is that people are very attached to their stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you come in and start messing with their stuff, it can be really, really upsetting. And so many people did not understand that. And I learned it gradually. So I just started to form my own teams. I started to have preferred vendors who would come in and do cleanouts, who would do the organizing, even things like painting and other things that needed to be done in the home. I just made sure that every time a contractor or a vendor was coming into the home, if the senior or family was present, that person understood that they reported to me and that I really wanted it done a certain way. And that wasn't because I was crazy. It was because I was really trying to protect the emotional well-being of these folks.
And if I could just interrupt you there, because I think as in our industry, homes are selling fast.
Yeah.
I think most of us would think, oh, you just go in there and you list the house. You don't need to do these things. I think the service that you offer and your process to do it is a little outside of what people would normally see in the business, because in our mind, we view it as the market's hot, let's get the house on the market. What is the benefit of all these other areas that you're focusing on in the long run? Because obviously it's more work.
Yeah.
Okay. Not necessarily work that you would have to do, but I think it's important that you do it. And I think it's important for people to understand the reason you have this process, not just, obviously you're going to try to maximize the sales price.
Yeah.
But, doing all these extra services, what type of experience does it provide for the seller, as well as the process, and what does it help gain in the long run that maybe if someone just went in and put a sign in front of the house, you would not obtain?
Right. Well, here's the thing. When folks have lived in a home for 30, 40 years, and they're aging in that home and maybe they're not doing that well, there tends to be deferred maintenance.
Yeah.
Sometimes a tremendous amount of deferred maintenance. So some slight refreshing can really get more for the home.
Yeah.
Now, you have to weigh that out against the cost. What's the refresh going to cost? And are they still going to make money on top of it?
Yeah.
Well, one of the beautiful things about what we do is that the profit, right? The difference, and we try to make sure that there's always a difference on the positive side. And it's getting tougher and tougher. You know, you have to really be scrupulous about this, but our clients keep all that profit, right? So if you watch an HGTV show, there's one that these two sisters do that this house won't sell or something, or unsellable house. They split the profit with the home seller. Now, that is television and it's different than what we do, but we don't split the profit. We make our money. We price, we charge for the services that we offer. Yeah. We charge for the extra time that we're going to be spending in the home. We're very clear about that. But in the end, if it doesn't look to us, to me, my agents, like the client, the seller, is going to come away with a better outcome than they would have had we just stuck the sign in the yard. Yes. Then we don't want to do it. Yeah. You know, I mean, it is about them, and time is money, especially because we pay for all of our repairs and we get reimbursed at closing. Okay. So I always tell my sellers, understand this is my money on the line. I'm putting my money out here. So if I don't believe that I'm going to reap a reward for you, then why would I want to spend the money up front?
And I think that is a huge piece of the puzzle, because obviously funds are always a consideration for a seller.
They can be.
And they're worried about, and a lot of times very, cash poor, but maybe house rich. Yeah. And they don't want to pull money from retirement accounts, then that takes on a lot of other things. So initially they're thinking, well, let's just get the house sold. So I guess these are all contractors that you approved.
Yes, we have approved them. They are licensed. They are specialists. They have insurance. If we bring someone new into a team, I always tell my seller, this is the first time I'm using this person, but we watch that really, really closely. We pay a lot of attention to what's going on in these homes, because at the end of the day, it has to look like we want it to look, right?
And I'm assuming like market time goes down too then. So one of the things from a seller can be very overwhelming is having showings every weekend. So does market time help when you present the house a little bit better? Is that something that can be an advantage as well? So you're not on the market as long if you don't do any work?
Well, let me say this. Yes, that is true. But if we don't do any work in a lot of these homes that have so much deferred maintenance, we're likely going to get investor offers. Yeah. Those investor offers, while they are super quick, 2-week close, cash, which in some situations is exactly what a family needs. And we're fine with that. If that's the best way to go, we're happy to do it that way. But a lot of times it's not. Having said that, those investor offers come in really low. So the investor then is going to pour the money in. Yes. The investor's going to make the profit. So we explain to our clients, we think you could really make an additional 30, 50. I've had clients make close to $100,000 more on a refresh. Yeah. Now, sometimes homes need a lot, and you have to look at it and say, is it really going to be worth it? How much are we going to have to put into this? But there's plenty of homes out there that really can withstand a really sizable refresh and still see a great profit. Because most of our sellers, remember, have lived in their home a long time and don't have a mortgage.
Yeah, I saw the stat, which I'm sure your sellers are longer, but I saw the stat that typically home tenure was around 3 to 7 years for years. Okay, that factors in obviously all home buyers. Right. And right now it's approaching 11 years, 12 years. I think it'll get up to 13 to 14 years. And a lot of that is baby boomers who are aging in place versus downsizing. Yeah. There's a lot of reasons why. So I'm sure that a lot of these, baby boomers are choosing to age in place interest rate is really low. They own the house free and clear.
Yeah.
They're attached to it. Their kids are attached to it. I get that a lot is, my kids don't want me to sell the house. It's the house we grew up in. There's a lot of emotions involved in selling a house that, your mom and dad have lived in forever. So what is the best way that how often do you talk to the kids? And what is the best way for you to identify and help more people? Because obviously, if people don't know, all these services are available, what is the best way that you identify some of these sellers?
Well, let me back up a second and say, and one other reason people don't move is they have so much stuff.
Well, yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff is probably the biggest reason people don't move.
So on that, how much of your services that you provide is to take care of that stuff?
Well, we do things differently because we have focused on a niche, because we really work with folks to help them transition, right? And we focus on seniors, but seniors are not at all the only clients we can help. Everyone moving into a new home, in or out of a home, needs to transition. So the services that we offer are really suitable for anyone. When it comes to the seniors, the beautiful thing is that because they often don't have any home payments, they can make the move prior to everything starting. So we sort of do it reverse with our clients, right? We help them plan their move. We do a floor plan of their new space, whether it's a ranch home, a condo, a community, a senior community. We plot their furniture out. We help them figure out how much closet space they have, what can they bring, what will fit in their new kitchen. We go through all of that first. We schedule the move, get them packed, moved, and settled in. And now you have a home that's full of beautiful stuff sitting there. We usually go to the adult children, the family, whoever, and say, okay, now it's your turn to make sure you guys have everything that you want out of there. Once that's complete, we can do things like have an estate sale, do a clean out, get ready for repairs. A lot of times, kids who live in other states might want a bedroom set. That was their great-grandparents. So we'll move those things. We will move people in and out of state. We will deliver items like bedroom sets and dining room furniture and safes and crazy things, things you wouldn't even imagine, to other locations for adult children who want these things. Sometimes by the time a family gets done picking through everything, there's not that much left. And it's one of the things that I would say is probably disappointing to some seniors, because we'll have talked about an estate sale. They think they want an estate sale because they want to make some money on their stuff. But by the time the 5 kids and grandchildren have gone through, the estate sale company comes through and they're like, there's just not enough here. So we're left with a clean out. And that can be disappointing to some people, but oftentimes we're just like, you know what? It's better that your family has it. They're heirlooms. Why not just be happy that your family now has all these beautiful things from your home, and we'll get rid of the things you don't want. So we do things a little bit different, right? Then we get the home ready, and then it goes on the market once it's ready to be shown. Now, again, if there's just too much to be done, we may just put that sign in the yard and get an investor offer, or get someone who's kind of a novice, a fix and flipper.
What kind of timeline does one expect to go from the time you first meet with them? Is there kind of like a general rule of thumb from the time you first meet with them till the time the house is listed? Like what does that timeline look like? Because obviously going through everything you just said can be so, dependent on the actual house and the seller and everything. But is there general kind of, because again, in our world, we're thinking about, we're closing loans in a couple of weeks nowadays. Like we're everything moving faster. Whereas on your end, we almost have to slow it down a little bit, because I'm assuming the faster you go, the more emotional it can get for someone who's lived in a home for that long. So what does the timeline look like from start to finish on average?
Well, it depends who's driving the train, right?
Yeah.
So if it is adult children who want parents to move out, that's typically the slowest process.
Okay.
That could take 2 years.
Yeah.
Right? We may meet with them, start the initial conversation, and then come back 6 months later. Sometimes we don't come back until something occurs, like a fall or an episode that deems it necessary that the resident move right away. If the senior calls us and they have located a new home or a community, or they want to move closer to grandchildren, that can happen pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I'm always amazed. It just depends on the psyche of the person who's actually doing the moving.
Yeah.
If they have bought into the move and they're ready and they want to move, we could be done in 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
If they are still in the process of being convinced it's a good idea, it can take some time.
Yeah.
But that's part of what we do. You know, we are really steeped in the senior world and have taken the time to become a dementia-friendly office, everyone in our office. So if we're moving someone who does have cognitive impairment, we're aware what that looks like. We understand that we may have to answer questions repeatedly. We understand that there may be some sundowning involved. We understand what the adult children are dealing with, probably better than the adult children do. Sometimes they'll come into town and we'll just see how frustrated they get with a parent. And we can be that calming force in the room to be like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Why don't you go out and go grab lunch? Mom is great here with me. I'm just going to go through these photos with her while we pack things up. I mean, our team is unbelievable.
So I think that's important to touch on because, again, our business is very fast-paced, and not everyone would take the time and have the patience that you and your team do. What is that? You know, I know we touched on it a little bit in the beginning, but, you know, we always say, like, what is your why?
Yeah.
Like, what is the reason why this became so important to you?
Yeah.
And why? Because, again, most people would not take the time.
Mhm.
We live in this fast-paced environment. Our industry is fast-paced. There's obviously other business you could go after that would not require the amount of time, personal money, and all these things. And here you've still chosen, after all that, to have this niche and focus, not only do it, but focus on it, build a business around it. What's that why that made you say, this is what I want to do? Because I think it says a lot about who you are, not only the business you've created.
Well, you're making you make me really think about that.
Yeah.
And I'm not, you know, there are days that I'm like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
That is a real why, right?
Yeah.
But most of the time I'll say that, well, going back to the beginning, it was really that feeling of, I made a difference, right? I wanted to make a difference. I've never been one I got into real estate because my husband pleaded with me to get into real estate.
We all get into real estate by accident.
Oh my gosh. Is this true?
Well, yeah. I always say, like, it's not like when you go to college, you say, I'm going to be a realtor or a mortgage lender.
Yeah, right.
So, like, we all get here by accident. It's just this thing that happens. And before you know it, you're in the business for 10 years.
Right.
And you're like, how did this happen? It just happens.
Right. Real estate is a very noble career. Let me say that. It makes a huge difference in people's lives. And it's gotten more and more difficult and technical and responsible over the years, right? We've really had to plug in. Real estate has come a long way. But I don't want to say that it wasn't enough for me.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was. I think I just needed more. I'm just one of those people that really, really wants to be impactful. I want to make that difference.
I think it's great because I think a lot of people get burnt out in this business. I mean,
10 years we're doing this now. I've had this company 10 years.
It's amazing.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
It is amazing. And my agents who, you know, have been with me for a while, it's great to see the changes in the way we've grown and how we've refined our system. And I'm always so blessed and amazed at the reviews we get, the way that we help people and change people's lives. And, you know, down to our packers, down to everybody, even the movers we use, everyone is just so important to us on the team.
See, I think that takes a lot of leadership on your part because, I'm in a leadership role, but, it takes people buying into your vision to deliver on all of that. And that's not an easy thing to do.
No.
It takes a lot of, you have to share your vision. Mm-hmm. You have to live your vision. Mm-hmm. People have to have passion because nobody is going to care about your business more than you.
Right.
But yet you're getting all these other people, okay, that don't get to sit on podcasts on video.
Right.
And do all these things that have to buy into what you want to do. So every box that's packed, your movers, all these things that happen have to kind of buy into that same vision. And it's very hard to do. But when you have passion and people are looking for leadership, they may not admit it. They may not,
like it.
They may not like it.
Want it.
They don't want it a lot of times. But you touched on it. Sometimes people need more than what just a job is.
Yeah.
And when you can tap into, the effect of what you do, because I think that's what gets lost in a lot of this and the impact on the family, the senior, because I guarantee you, your seniors that are moved into a new place after all that craziness. Yeah. Okay. And a year later, when the dust settles, they're probably sitting down, and I'm sure you talk to them, and the sense of relief and just the pressure that's been taken off of them and the happiness of being in their new home and not having to worry about deferred maintenance and all these things that, overwhelm people at times.
Yep.
So I think, having that purpose and having that vision is what people buy into. And I think that's what you've been able to do. I don't know if you remember, but when we worked together in an office, you came to me and you sat down in my office there and you told me kind of what you were planning on doing. And I thought it was amazing. I thought you were a little crazy at the time, but I was like, you were very determined when you told me of what you wanted to do. And I was like, that's awesome. And you had this, you were telling me you had, you were talking about franchising and all these things. You had this vision and you were just laser focused that you were going to do this. And here we are 10 years later, probably it is.
It is 10 years later. And I've had to adjust that vision. And I can't say that all of it's been real happy, in the respect that I never knew how hard it would be to grow a business, especially a business like this. And, I'm constantly reading, listening to podcasts, learning. And the fact that we do so much, we are really a concierge service. We are really dialed into doing so many things. And when you're trying to sell something or move something forward, it's much easier if you do one thing.
Yeah.
You just do one thing. And so I thought about that. Well, maybe we should pare this down. If we really want to grow this company, we need to pare it down. But then I wouldn't be meeting the needs of my clients. And everything that we do is what they need. And you had said, a year later, 6 months later, when you talk to them, it's not just them. It's those adult children who can now sleep at night in Pennsylvania because they know that they're not going to get a call in the middle of the night that mom or dad has fallen down the stairs or something, right? There's someone there. They're in a safer environment or whatever it might be. But a lot of people rest easier after that move takes place.
I think it's very noble what you've done, but I think it's even more impressive how you've gotten so many people around you to kind of buy into what you've done. So I give you a lot of credit. As someone who runs a branch, it's not easy to get people to buy into what you want to do. So the fact that you've been able to do that, and I'm not having my team, out packing and doing all the things that you do. So it takes a lot of people, and you have a great team around you, and it's great. So what I wanted to ask you is kind of like what the long-term vision of where you feel like you want to be in the next 5 years. Like, what does it look like? Obviously, you recently made a move to the company that you're at. So maybe touch on that a little bit, but because I'm assuming that it plays into why you went there, and where do you kind of see your business going over the next 5 years?
Well, we're small, and in order to serve more people in Chicagoland, I need to grow.
Yeah,
I need more agents. And to your point, it's not easy to find agents who want to specialize, who can catch the vision, but that is what I want. Systems, as you know, owning an office, systems and space, it's all expensive.
Yeah.
And the only way to really be able to grow is to have more people doing the work, right?
Yeah.
More people in-house serving more clients and customers out there. So in order to do that, I really needed more robust systems. I bought a Weichert franchise a year ago in September.
Okay.
So next month. And it's been a great addition. Weichert is a family-owned company out of Jersey. There are about 350 franchises nationwide, 100 or so corporate units.
Did he give you the infrastructure that you needed?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think they gave me the systems, like the CRM system and the network of realtors around the country.
Yeah, that's huge.
And a family to really kind of lean on for advice, a regional director, an area council.
Yeah.
So there's more camaraderie in it. We were sort of lone wolves.
Yeah.
Not only that, Presto Real Estate Services was my standalone real estate company. And it was hard for agents to understand what the benefit was with such a small company.
Yeah.
You know, agents, realtors are, they're looking for what they can get.
Yeah.
They're looking for what they can get. So, and I understand that. You know what? Everybody has to march to their own tune. And I'm confident that we will grow with the right people. I do want to grow.
I like
but
you said that the right people. What are the right people that you're looking for? What does that person look like? Because I always say you have to have the right people in the right seats.
Yeah.
Having the right people is good.
Yeah.
But sometimes we put them in the wrong position. I've been guilty of this, where you have a great person, but you don't have them in the right position to win. So I always say the right people in the right seats. So what does the right person look like that you're looking to, join your team?
Well, I'll say that, we're not a 100% commission house.
Yeah.
We don't take a transaction fee, and that's not how we operate. There are opportunities to make great money in what we do.
Yeah.
Right? Because we really help increase the value of most of our homes. We also get paid extra for doing what we do. The agents make more for doing what we do. And the clients really understand that. They see the value in the time and energy that we're putting into their home and their project. And they've lived in their home a long time, and they care a lot about what we're taking care of for them. So while agents can make probably more money on a transaction with us, it can take more time.
Yeah.
And a lot of agents don't want to do that, and they're looking for the dollars. So I really need that person who wants to reach into other people's lives, who wants to feel like they're really making a difference, who wants to specialize. There's a lot of senior real estate specialists out there.
Yeah.
That we haven't reached out to yet. We haven't found them yet. And I think there are a lot of people out there who would be interested in our model and joining what we do.
Do you feel like you almost need to have gone through it with a family member to fully grasp and understand why what you do is so integral? What I mean is that, I think it's hard for people to grasp, the emotions behind moving a family member, let alone your mom and dad. Do you kind of feel like someone who's been through that in the past maybe, can appreciate, and same way you did?
Yeah.
I'm sure you cared about it before, but going through it with your mom was probably very eye-opening for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I think that that's a good point. It's probably why most of the folks on my team are, around my age and women.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we would welcome anyone, but it's probably why it resonates more with the population that I have in the office.
Well, I think what I always say too is that you can always teach someone real estate.
Yeah.
You can't teach someone to care.
No.
And it's so hard to find nowadays. And it's scary to say that, but it's, it took me a very long time. in the mortgage industry, it's easy to recruit people. There's tons of people that need work.
Yeah.
And that are very talented.
Yeah.
But almost every single person that I've hired had almost no experience, but I saw qualities in them that it's like I can train them to do the mortgage business. I just need people that care, because again, you need people that know and understand how important it is, these transactions, and I think it's hard to find, but when you find someone that cares, everything else kind of works itself out.
Yes.
It's just that quality of caring, realizing this isn't a job, it's a career, and, it can be the most stressful thing that you do, but it also can give you some of the most rewarding, financial piece of it is great. There's a lot of people that make a lot of money, but that is very short-lived in this business. That's only going to give you so much, joy. You got to find that other piece. And I think that's what you've done, is you've found this great, other piece of the business that's giving you so much more than probably what you've given out, because it's kind of guided to where you are right now.
Well, and there's just such a huge need.
Yeah.
There's such a huge need. And the trajectory until 2060 is, it's moving at a pace that none of us really realize. So I feel like for my business, the iron's hot.
Yeah.
The iron is very hot. We just aren't large enough to reach all the people we need to reach. So we really do need more people who want to do what we do. Yeah.
I think that's great. So on that, obviously, moving forward, baby boomers are going to be a huge part of the story. Downsizing as rates start to come down is going to be a big part of the story. But, elephant in the room, and what we've been dealing with recently is the NAR settlement.
Yeah.
So I know it's not directly related.
Yeah.
But obviously it's a big change in the industry.
Yeah.
Probably
Huge.
something we could talk about for a really long time.
Yeah.
I will just say personally, and I've been saying this all along, I feel like the next 3 to 5 years are maybe some of the best opportunities that we've had in the industry, even since I've been in the business over 20 years. I feel like the next 3 to 5 years can be some of the best that a realtor, mortgage lender, anybody have ever experienced. Okay. And I'll tell you why. There are more people that need our help than ever before. And I think the NAR settlement, but whatever, you could pick a bunch of different things. A lot of realtors are exiting the business. A lot of lenders have exited the business. But I think through all this craziness with NAR, I think the one thing that hasn't gotten enough attention is how confusing this is to the consumer. We're in the business and we're dealing with it.
And we're confused.
And I think the consumer. So what are your thoughts on the settlement as an owner of an office, and how you feel like the landscape is going to change as we move forward?
My clientele is not really aware. Their adult children are. Obviously, the news blows things up like the news does.
Of course.
So the information is not real clear. I think the bottom line is, in my opinion, and the training that I've been through, and as much as I want to say, when we first heard about it, we all did the proverbial, ugh, this is just going to stink.
Yeah.
This is going to be so difficult. Buyer's agreements, buyers don't have the money to pay their broker. But the reality is that, you know what? This is the way it should have been all along.
Yeah, of course.
A buyer's broker works for the buyer. They represent the buyer. They help the buyer. All of their efforts and activities are designed to get the best deal for the buyer. Therefore, the buyer should pay them.
Yeah.
Same with the seller. So the idea that commissions are no longer communicated publicly actually gives everybody an even playing field, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think it's bad. My team is confused like everybody, and we're not sure how it's going to shake out because not too many people have had deals actually close, right?
Yeah.
In Illinois, it just came into being on the 17th. A bunch of us have listings that are still either they're under contract or they're not really grandfathered in. We've had to add addendums.
Okay.
But my point with my team was there's no time like the present.
Yeah.
Starting right now, we're going to give our sellers every advantage. There's no reason anyone needs to know what the commission is. The buyer can come in and request commission.
Yeah.
And if the seller is willing to pay it, then that's amazing.
Yeah.
Or we can come to some other agreement. But it's, the more I get used to it, the more it makes really good sense.
And I think the takeaway from me and what it's been to my team is this is an opportunity.
Yeah.
It's a huge opportunity.
Education.
I think it provides a bigger opportunity to educate the consumer. There's going to be more of a need for it. I also feel like, we've had so much noise. You and I were both in the business during 2008, 2010. There was a lot of noise then.
Panic.
I joke around in the office here because a lot of people weren't in the business. And when I was at your office, and I remember people didn't want to take listings. Think about that. Because they were going to market it for 12 months. They didn't know if it would sell. And then they would cancel the listing. And people didn't want listings. And when you tell people that now, it's it's just unheard of. Crazy.
I was knocking on expired doors.
Yeah.
And it was just angry sellers yelling at me. How are you going to be different than the last one?
It's crazy.
It was
for me. It's
crazy.
We can't control interest rates.
No.
We can't control inflation. We can't control home prices. We can't control all these different things. Okay. Can't enjoy unemployment rates. All these things. We can't control any of that. Yeah. What we can control is kind of the actions, the processes, but more importantly, how we react to the things around us. And I feel like that is the opportunity, is being able to not absorb a lot of that. And as a team leader, the noise. And as leadership, I think, is being able to lead through, it's easy for us to lead when times are great.
Yeah.
Okay. I think
everybody's making money. Exactly. Everybody's happy.
Remember how great we all thought we were during 2021?
I was just going to say, wasn't it just yesterday?
Yeah, we were awesome. The phone was ringing.
Yeah.
We didn't need to do anything, and we were all great. And then, 2023 came, the market started to turn. Yeah. Now we have an NAR lawsuit, and it's just, there's always something. Yeah. And I think the key is how you react to that and the mindset that you have. And I always say it's separation season. A lot of people have been using that term because this is going to separate kind of the players in the industry from the complainers, for lack of a better word. And I think that's what makes, your mindset so impactful to your team and how you approach it from the team, because it's very easy to complain. Okay. Yes. And when people see you complain, that gives them an excuse to kind of, it just trickles down. And I think the more people that step up like you have and project confidence to the team and say, this is what we're doing and we're moving on and what happened yesterday doesn't matter. Yeah. I think that is when we can focus on the consumer. We've made this so much about us. And what I said to a couple of realtors is we have to be careful, because at the end of the day, the consumer does not care about our compensation. No. They don't. They didn't care about it.
Nor should they.
They didn't care about it in mine 2010. They don't care about it with yours now.
No.
And we need to fix that issue on our own and help consumers. Everything else will work itself out. And I think that's the takeaway.
Well, and I think that one of the things that you said was confidence. Confidence is really the number one aspect that I think can be the game changer.
Yeah.
Whether it's with your team or your clients. Yeah. Honesty, transparency, confidence. You know what? I'm confident we're going to get through this. We are in a new period. And I had a listing agreement signed last night, and I felt like I was kind of muddling my way through some of the explanations. And I said exactly that. I am confident we're going to do fine with this. I will keep you informed every step of the way. If something changes with the way that I feel I may have interpreted something, I'm going to let you know, and we'll make amendments to anything that we've put together. I mean, what more can someone ask for?
People are hiring you for that confidence.
Yes.
And people are hiring you for that experience. And your value is everything that's happened prior to today.
Yeah.
And those experiences and all those families that you've sat across. And that's what they're hiring.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, people will pay for value if they perceive it to be value. What they won't pay for is well, you just need to sign this because this is the way that it is. And unfortunately, that's what it's been for so long without understanding. And whether you did all these extra services or if someone just put a sign in the door, it was the same.
Yeah.
And now people like yourself are going to be more highly valued. And I think that's really the takeaway. Do you see anything like benefiting newer realtors coming in?
Well, it's funny you say that because I speak to a real estate school twice a week or twice a month.
Yeah.
And I always bring up Simon Sinek.
Yeah.
And I point them to his TED Talk and his book.
Yeah.
Start with why. Because people buy why you do it, not what you do.
Exactly.
They want to know, they want to look you in the eye and believe you. They want that. People want to believe in people.
Yeah.
But they can smell a rat.
Yeah.
People can smell a rat. So if you're authentic and you truly want to help, if you're not thinking it's all about you.
I think you said it though, confidence.
Yeah.
If you're confident, they will feed off of that. They will be confident in you. If you are doubtful or if you have hesitation or you're not bought into it,
or you have an attitude about it.
Yeah.
You can pick up when someone is just,
or if you're defensive about your compensation, it can then take away from what really is what they're trying to accomplish, and is to sell a house. I think the compensation is less of an issue if you don't make it the first thing you talk about.
Right. But again, I think that a lot of agents get scared and want to kind of gloss over that. And it's really important to dig in and make sure, especially now that we're signing buyer's agreements and we have to put something in there.
Yeah.
So you're worth X percent. Why?
Yeah.
Why am I worth this? Exactly. What are you going to do? I mean, we've gone through it. We've role played in the office, the buyer consultation. Now more than ever, it's imperative to sit down with that buyer for a cup of coffee in advance to get that agreement signed. But more than that, to show them exactly what it is you're going to be doing for them. You may only show them 5 homes, but it's more likely that you're going to show them 25 homes.
So that is why I love this. It's one of the things I talk about with a lot of my realtors that I meet with is that, the average seller will take a realtor around 8 to 11 hours of their time. Okay. The average buyer, it's like 23 to 24 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Now, my value to my realtor partners is I want to take that 24 hours and I want to take it down to about 8 to 11 hours. Okay. And the way that you do that is all the process that we do up front. Mm-hmm. And now if we have a realtor partner that's doing that same process up front, instead of showing someone 25 homes, we're going to show them 5 or 6.
The right home.
We're going to get the offer accepted. They're going to know what the payment's going to be. They're going to know what their cash to close is. You've now just taken your time, okay? Because I feel like a lot of newer realtors and even some that have been in the business for a while, it's time management.
Yeah.
And it's why everyone says, you know what? Listings are the name of the game. And they are, but you're still going to be working with buyers. And if you can shorten that time, and I think that's where the buyer consultation is going to be so critical, because you're going to learn things that you wouldn't normally learn when you have that conversation, and that's your value. Then you're going to have a lender partner that's going to go through how to pay commission. And then when you get the offer a chance and you're in a multiple offer, you're more likely to win that offer because the buyer is informed and you're not having conversations. I think that is the biggest opportunity right now for people that choose to run their business that way. Because, I have agents every day that will meet a buyer at a house, this was previously, write an offer, and we're just scrambling. And can I get it done in 2 weeks? Absolutely. But that buyer would have the overwhelming experience because they're running to the finish line.
Right.
And it's just, so I think that's the opportunity, is to be able to provide a much better experience for buyers that is going to allow you and the rest of your agents to serve more people and help more people and feel better about it afterwards.
And we love that.
Yeah.
We love that. It's so important to have great partners who you can call and rely on to get things done. Just like in the process that we do with our, when we're moving and preparing a seller. I mean, the vendor is the most important person in our world, making sure that we're working with the right people. So I agree. I think it's a good time. Whenever there's a big shift in the real estate world, good things typically come from it. Takes a little bit of time for everybody to shake it out, but I think we're gonna see some really great things. Great agents.
So real quick before we finish up, you mentioned that you listen to a lot of books and podcasts. Do you have any kind of favorites that you really like?
Oh my gosh, I have so many.
And the reason I say this is I think people love to kind of know, like, do you have a morning routine that you do or anything different?
I have a devotional that I do in the morning, and I do Wordle.
Okay.
Wordle and my devotional. Yeah. That's kind of my morning thing. But I listen to so many books. E-Myth is probably one of my favorite books, but because I wanted to grow a business, that was really important to me. Let me think about this. The Happiness Advantage. Yep. I know. Sean Aker.
Yeah.
Amazing.
You mentioned Simon.
Simon Sinek, Start With Why. Simon Sinek's got a few.
He's got a bunch of great books that, and he does a lot of stuff with some people in my industry. So I'm very familiar with him, and I know the TED Talk that you're talking about. It's phenomenal. It's
really good. I think it's good for everybody, and it's not just in your business life. It's like your life.
Yeah.
Understand, relating to people, that connecting is the most important part.
And my wife makes fun of me because I listen to podcasts and books like nonstop. And honestly, it's just to make sure I'm, I feel like it helps me day to day. Yeah. Because I feel like I get pulled in 1,000 different directions, and that kind of centers me a little bit and allows me to kind of have a better mindset when I'm dealing with my team, with customers. So I think it's important. So I wanted to cover on that. So lastly, what I wanted to kind of end with is just, you've obviously been in the business for a period of time. You've obviously learned a ton in the industry. Okay. What are some takeaways if I was going to be a newer agent entering the business and I were to come to you, and I'm going to put you on the spot here, but what would be a few takeaways that you feel like are going to be integral for the next, 1 to 2 years to really focus on? Because the problem is when you get in this business, everyone has a book to sell you, a coach that you need to have. You need to do this, you need to do that. And I feel like a lot of people get pulled, or we got this coaching, or we're going to do this training, and they never really get to what I feel like is the why. Yeah. Why am I doing this? Yeah. What is my goal? And I think a lot of people get into the real estate industry because they say, oh, well, I want to have flexibility. I want to make my own schedule.
I love houses.
Yeah, I love houses. I love houses. I feel like I could, so what are a couple things that if someone's getting in the business, because you speak to newer agents, what's kind of that advice that you give them?
Well, the one thing I say is this is your business.
Yeah.
It's a funnel.
Yeah.
Your job is to prospect, present, and close. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. It's not complicated, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
You must always be prospecting, and you must always be looking for that opportunity to present, because without those, you're not going to close.
Yeah.
And if you want to make money, that's what you have to do. You have 3 jobs. That's it. Now, the second thing I tell them is you need 1 calendar.
Okay.
Not 6, not a family calendar on the wall, not the one in your phone and then the one on your computer.
Yeah.
Bring everything into 1 calendar and color code it so that everything you do for your real estate job is 1 color. Everything you do in your personal life is another color. And you can vary it from there. But at the end of a week, at the end of a month, you'll be able to look at your calendar and see just how much time you spent in your business.
Yeah.
Because if you're not spending the time, you're not going to get the result.
Most people are busy in their business, but they're not busy building a business.
Well, right. I mean, I could go on, but when I speak to the real estate school, those are the things that I tell them. You need to be able to track what you're doing. know
Can I
that
ask
you're
you something
doing
else? Because I
activities.
know, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but
Yeah.
it's something I talk about when I interview a loan officer. I always talk about it. And you have a very supportive husband of your business. It's one of the things I talk about with our team all the time is, when they want to get in this business, like, do you have the support of your spouse if you have one, or significant other? Like, because there's a lot of sacrifices.
Yeah.
Is that something that, what does that partnership look like that enables you to do what you do?
Well, it's a tough business to get into. If you're taking real estate classes at night, because you have a full-time job, you have to really think about, how is real estate going to fit into my world, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to support yourself. If you're fortunate enough, like I was, to have a husband who had a job and carried our insurance, I had the freedom to get into this. And it is important.
Yeah.
Now, if you're going to get into real estate and you want to just dabble, then know that you want to just dabble, and that's okay. I tell everybody it costs about $5,000 a year to be a realtor. That's base. Those are just dues and
No
classes,
marketing,
CEs,
no nothing.
or very little, right?
Yeah.
Maybe business cards, but it's about $5,000 a year without a whole lot of anything.
Yeah.
So what do you have to sell?
Yeah.
To at least pay your $5,000? You have to think about what it is you're going to do. The average agent doesn't sell four homes a year.
Yeah.
The average agent doesn't sell 4 homes a year.
There's a stat that just came out that in the last 10 months, there's like 67% of realtors have not closed a single loan.
Okay. Yeah. I don't even know what to say to that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of licenses in holding companies right now because people aren't sure what to do. But it's one of those things. When I started with 100% brokerage and this was almost 20 years ago, because I knew myself well enough that if I had to pay a desk fee that was pretty steep at that time. And I knew that if I didn't do that, I wouldn't work.
Yeah.
I needed something that was going to hold me accountable. So my first year in real estate, I don't know how many I closed, maybe 8 or 9.
It's great.
And I've never been under 6 figures since.
Yeah.
Right.
It's amazing. Yeah.
But I had to purpose myself. And I tell newbies, it takes 3 years. It takes 3 years to grow anything. Yeah. So understand that, the 1% of the 1% are out there crushing it in their first year. That's an anomaly.
Listen, there's a lot of realtors right now and people in my business that they love the more chaos and disruption that is out there, the more... I
know we're thinking of the same person.
Yeah. I mean, the more disruption and chaos is out there, they love every minute of it.
Yeah.
Because to them, this is where, we were order takers before.
Yeah. During
COVID and other markets.
Yeah.
And so much of our business is becoming commoditized, where, oh, you can just do this electronically. You don't need to do this. And the more that happens, it makes what you do even more valuable because AI is not going to be packing the house. AI is not. So all the things that you do are so valuable. I think are so great. So before we end, I want to first thank you for being our first guest here.
Thank you.
I know this is a big
allowing
deal.
Me to be your
I couldn't ask for a better first guest. We'll have to do this again.
Super fun.
I know it was a lot of fun. So, but how does someone reach you if they wanted to reach out?
Well,
we'll make sure we include it.
Please do, because we've got lots of ways. Email, our website is fabulous. I always send people to our website because we have real testimonials out there. It really kind of walks people through how we do things. Pictures of the whole team are on there. So you can really learn a lot about our services and what we do from our website.
And just to be clear, you're a full service real estate office.
We are a full
and
service,
not just seniors.
Really
while you specialize
we do.
in seniors, you still are a full service.
Yes.
First-time home buyers, investors, no matter what.
First-time home buyers need to pack, move, and settle too, right?
Absolutely.
A lot of times they need painting done or they're moving into a home where the kitchen doesn't look like they want it to. And we can do all of that. So we can help with so many things. We're really outside the box and have taken the time to learn what the clients out there really want and need. So we're excited to be a part of this and excited to meet some new clients.
Well, I couldn't be more thankful that you took the time.
Thanks.
You definitely earned it because of your persistence.
Thank you.
In asking me to do this. So I appreciate that. So you had to keep us on our toes. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So thank you to everyone for watching. Thank you for listening, and hope to see you on the next episode.